You're listening to Nightbreed on Inspire Radio, and we got Waniac on the line from Religious Observance. How are you, Waniac?
Yeah, really good, thanks. You?
Yeah, good man, good. So we were just speaking earlier. After this interview, you're heading off to do a radio show. What station's that on?
Yeah, yes, I do this show called Infernal Noise Radio, and I've been doing that for about 20 years, I think. And yeah, it's on a studio here in southeastern suburbs of Melbourne called Casey Radio.
Oh, beautiful, man. That's awesome.
Cheers.
So let's go back to 2015. What prompted the start of Religious Observance?
Yeah, good question. So if we go back a little bit further than that, just a couple of years, so two of the members from Religious Observance, so John, or credited as X, and myself, have a noise project called Colostomy Baguette, which is still on and off going. Like we've never stopped it, I guess, but just not very active. And at that point in time, the original lineup of Religious Observance, the other three members were all in another band called She Beast, which is like a sludgy band. We'd played a couple of shows together, and then Ben, or Gooch he's credited to, he suggested, why don't we all have a jam together? And that was kind of born that way, I guess. Just wanted to do something that's, heavy and crushing and noise ridden, sort of like Corrupted and, I Hate God and all those sort of influences, just get something really heavy. So, and yeah, it just sort of spawned from that.
Yeah, that's cool. Is the finished product anything like what you had in mind when you started?
It's kind of strange. Like at the time, I don't think we really, we didn't have a super clear idea of what we wanted. We just knew we wanted something that was really heavy, bit of grit to it, and yeah, just really taking advantage of having that noise element to add an extra level of heaviness. And so yeah, I don't know exactly what we're looking for at the time, but I feel like we've definitely achieved that.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's cool. How does songwriting work? Is there sort of one stronger songwriter, or are you getting together and jamming it out?
Yeah. Again, Gertsch or Ben is pretty. He's often does a lot of the writing, or at least gets something started, and he tends to get, I don't know, almost impatient. So once we've been playing songs for a while, he's just itching to make new things. So he'll just come up with riffs while we're having a break, having a bit of pizza or something, or during practice, and he'll just disappear, and we'll come back and he's like, oh, I've got another riff written. So he's just a machine, I guess, of churning out riffs. That said, everyone contributes their part as well. Yeah, both the guitarists tend to, bounce ideas off each other, and everyone's involved. Yeah, the bass player definitely. I'm probably the one that's least involved, just because I only do vocals and don't really understand instruments. But every now and then I will come up with something like, hey, try doing this, and sometimes we seem to even go for it. So everyone's got their part, and John's always thinking of ways to, really do something different with his noise and bringing that in. So it is a very collaborative. I think Ben's probably the driver, but it is everyone involved.
Yeah, nice, man. Saying like you do the vocals, do you write lyrics?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So I always sort of think, we sort of sound, and the vocals sort of sound at times, and I hope they do anyway. I'm going for a real tortured sort of sound.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like you normally associate this sort of thing with some really dark and deep, meaningful lyrics. Where, hand on heart, I'm pretty shallow, I guess. I'll have some dark subjects and things like that, but often I'm just sort of it's not even really sensical. It's just a lot of, something that fits the amount of syllables and things like that. So I'll have vocal patterns. I do have lyrics, but they're kind of irrelevant, so I don't even publish them because it's just to help me remember what I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
We've had a few songs here and there that have something in it, but yeah, as a general rule, vocalist, not so much a lyricist.
Yeah, sure. I'm looking at your discography since you guys got together. It's fairly prolific, including a couple of live albums. How'd you go about recording live albums?
Yeah, so a lot of these are just sort of digital releases as well. So I don't know, I guess because I'm kind of old, I feel like if it's not on a CD or a record, I don't know if I'd really count it, to be honest. But
okay.
We definitely do have some live recordings. And and Noise with John's always got a Zoom for recording it, like practice and things like that. and quite common, or in the earlier days anyway. He'd record every show we ever played, which was really good to, I guess, listen back and like, we think we did well and listen to it, and we can sort of go, okay, we might have, done something not quite right here, or did something different, but it sounded really good. So it's good to self-reflect, I guess. And I guess the idea of just releasing, as a live album is really just to keep things coming out. Where obviously it costs a lot of money to actually properly record and get things onto a physical medium. So it's good just to be able to keep churning things out, give people an opportunity to hear, us in all of our different sort of sounds.
Oh, cool. Sorry, go on, mate. Sorry.
And we've got a good friend of the band, King Bean, does a lot of like filming and audio recording, and every show he comes to of ours, at least, he records at least the audio. So some of them we will have sourced some of the audio from him as well. It's really good to get multiple sources sometimes, just capturing different parts.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm in a couple of bands that only have 3 members, and yet we still sometimes struggle to lock in times to jam when we're all available. How do you go about coordinating 6 people?
It can be a real pain. Thankfully, there's a couple of people that are a bit restricted as to when they can and can't practice. So we know that there's already specific days of the week that are just never going to happen. That sort of helps us. But at the moment, we're really just doing basically fortnightly. Probably would prefer to be doing it weekly practice, but we're getting by, I guess, just with the few shows we've got and whatnot. But to answer your question, it is a challenge with 6 people.
Yeah. So X is credited as playing noise, and I can hear it. I can definitely hear a better noise. But what actual instrument is being used there?
In the really, really old recordings, there was a little bit of bass. So we had 2 different basses at one point. But for the most part, I'm not technically minded when it comes to instruments and stuff, but like synthesizer and just a whole host of pedals and mixers and things like that as well. And also getting some kind of unusual instruments. So one, for example, is like a money tin that you would have at like a market stall or something. And inside that, there's just I don't even know what he's got in there. It could be rocks or something, and just contact mics as well. And then running that through various pedals. It's just making like I guess you could say a percussive sort of sound. It's just weird, and I kind of like that about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then another weird thing, which I've also used when we've been in Colostomy Brigade as well, is using like an aluminium, I think, or a stainless steel vibrator, like a sex toy.
Oh, yeah.
And then again up against some sort of a surface with a contact mic. So it's just strange textures. So. So that probably doesn't really answer your question too well, but a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. That's great. So it looks like you've been involved in a few bands. Is any of the other ones still active alongside Religious Observance?
So for myself, like I said before, Colostomy Baguette is it's just dormant, I suppose. We don't actively practice or anything. Every now and then we'll get asked to play live and we'll do it. But that'll just be an improv thing altogether. So it's, for me, it's pretty easy band because we just work it out on the spot and go, all right, let's just see what works. And it is, it's harsh noise. So it's, I guess it's sort of a little easier to improvise on that sort of thing. I've got another sort of sludgy band called Creep Diets as well. We've just started up again and going to start playing shows shortly as well. That's my main 3 bands.
Yeah, cool. So Religious Observance has a couple of big shows coming up in June. What's the plan for the band after that?
We're actually in the process of getting our latest recordings mixed. So we've definitely got a full-length album, and we might even have a couple of extra tracks, just depending on how long we want the album to be. I sort of don't want people to get bored listening to it if it goes too long. So, we've got might be 7 or 8 songs, about an album or a little bit over an album's worth. Once that's all mixed, we'll need to get that released. So we're hoping we can do that a little bit later this year. And then, we'd love to get it onto vinyl if at all possible. Mm. And then once we've got that ready to go, we'll probably try and do some sort of a little tour. Play as much as we can, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. Any chance you make it our way if COVID allowing?
Oh, I would absolutely love to. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Cool. Well, I look forward to hearing that album, but we're going to play a track from Utter Discomfort, the title track. Anything you want to say about it before we get into it?
There's a funny this one did have some sort of lyrics to it, and I won't go into too many details, but it was kind of inspired by an experience with one of our members being in like a topless bar, and was just, I wasn't there for it, but hearing the other people talk about it was like he had this look of utter discomfort on him. Yeah. So that kind of spawned from there.
Perfect. Awesome. Wayne, thanks for your time. Hey, good luck with the upcoming shows, and I'll chat soon, yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, man.